Point 13, and this is fucking important, and this is the biggest mistake I made with T2. Businesses won't last forever. I know you think your business will last forever, but it won't. And if a business won't last forever, you need to get rich quick and put yourself before your business. The biggest mistake I made with T2 is I was so desperate trying to keep it afloat that I wasn't taking any of my own money. I bought a new car and I gave myself a little bit of money. But if I could go back in time, I would have milked that cow. I had money in the bank. But to keep it surviving, I didn't want to take so much money. I had to keep Dan's Coke habit down. So I reduced the amount of wages we were taking, kept it low. So when it all blew up, I wasn't sitting on any money. I kept the company alive at the expense of me. If I could go back in time, by the time it all blew up, I'd be sitting on $500,000 clean. Look after yourself first. And this is very, very important because no business lasts forever. Doesn't matter what the business is. Even my TV advertising business that worked 13 years ago would never work today. Calling people on the phone trying to convince them out of money when they can just get a YouTuber for 500 pounds with more viewership and they can track the clicks and directly see how much money they're getting back, which you can't do with TV. I could never sell TV to someone today. Never. This is before Instagram, before social media, before YouTube. All this came along and killed TV now. Now there's a few big brands left. Netflix, who even watches TV? That business wouldn't last anymore. I bet if you told blacksmiths 200 years ago that being a blacksmith ain't gonna ever work again, they'd be like, what? People always need metal. What are you talking about? Blacksmiths aren't around anymore. Every single business is gonna fail, sooner or later. So if it's gonna fail, make sure you get that money before it blows up. I have no problem with any one of my businesses going boom if it's already paid me. If all my cam girls quit, but I have $3 million, good. If I've taken all that $3 million and invested it in a big studio and reinvested all the money and made everything nice and then they all quit, then what was the fucking point? The goal of a business is to make you rich. This is the point of your business, to make you rich. The point of a business is not to have a business for vanity. The point of the business is to make you rich. Look after yourself first. Now, obviously, this is an equation. I'm not saying only look after yourself to look after your business. I'm saying take this in mind, keep it as a happy equation, and make sure you're getting that money. With T2, I made a mistake, and I kept funneling all the money back into keeping the ship afloat. It's my ship, the T2 ship, on the waves. And I didn't take enough of the money for myself. Kept investing in new staff, new computers, dumb shit. I was 20. All the lessons I'm telling you now are lessons I've learned. If I would have just taken the money, you know what? Get a deal in. All right, yeah, we'll keep it going. Yeah, just take the money, take the money, take the money, take the money. By the time it blew up, I would have been sitting on 500 fucking grand. And I didn't. You have to look after yourself. A business won't last forever, so you have to take the money and get rich. Look after yourself. If you're thinking about, oh, maybe I need a new camera, maybe I need a new car, maybe I need new vans, whatever your business is, doesn't matter. Think about it, but also think long and heavy. Is that going to bring new money in? Let's look at a video production business. Just come to my head. You have a video production business. You're filming in 4K. You want this new camera. It's still 4K, but it does all these extra features. Does the layman understand it? Not really. If you can go to a meeting and tell him you're going to film in 4K, it's the same. That camera's 20 grand. I don't know. I'm just off the top of my head. I don't know anything about cameras. Do you spend the money on that camera or do you just pocket the 20 grand? I'm telling you what you do. You pocket the 20 grand because it's not going to get you any more clients. It's still 4K. You can just lie in the meetings and pretend your camera can do what that camera can do. You're not going to lose or make any more business. Take the 20 grand. It ain't going to add money in directly, so you don't need it. You need to be getting rich from your company. Look after yourself first, because when your company fucks up, you need to be able to say, okay, abandon ship. Woo! Abandon ship with fucking suitcases. Don't abandon ship. When I abandoned T2, I had nothing. And that was a mistake. I worked my ass off, sleepless nights, millions of dollars through the bank for nothing. Don't do that. Look after yourself first. This is point 13. A business won't last forever. You need to get rich quick and you need to take the money. Take the money for yourself. Don't run a business for vanity. Look after yourself. Get that money and keep it. If you have to choose between you and the company, most of the time you should be choosing you. Obviously, it's a balance. You need to make sure your company's looked after. You need to reinvest in your company, blah, blah, of course. But still, you are the primary focus of your universe. Everything serves you, including your company. That's point 13. Don't make the mistake I made with T2, putting it all back in and not looking after yourself. There's a reason why you can actually put this in the course. Look him up, Sir Philip Green with BHS. Billionaire, bought BHS, which is a big clothing store in England, saw it was failing, took billions and billions for himself, let it fail, let everyone's pensions go under, let it sink. Once he realized, you know what do I do here? Do I just make millions and billions for myself, or do I save this company? Nah, for me. He actually lost his lordship for it because they thought it was such an evil thing to do, because like 10,000 old ladies lost their pensions who'd worked there for like 40 years. Pretty evil. But the point is the same. As a billionaire, he understood, me first, company second. So he milked it. There was another company, it was a toy store, and they ran up until Christmas Day, and they took all the money for Christmas. No, it was a catalog. You remember the catalog? There was these Christmas catalogs. I can't remember. There's these Christmas catalogs, and you pay every month, and you build up this balance, and then before Christmas, you can order all your presents and all your food from the catalog. And they ran up until Christmas Day, and then they closed, took millions, and didn't deliver anything, ruined everyone's Christmases. I remember it was big in the news in England. They ruined something like 10,000 families' Christmases because they couldn't afford a Christmas anymore. But the managing director, because the managing director ended up going to court, but he still got away with it because it was legal, he took $7 million. He looked at his business and goes, you know what? I don't think this is sustainable anymore. I'm not going to put any more money into this shit. I'm going to take £7 million. I'm going to fuck it off. I'm going to deal with the big PR disaster. I'm going to go hiding and whatever. I've got $7 million. He looked after himself first. If he would have put that $7 million back in, the company would have gone bust a year and a half later and you'd have no money. Look after yourself first. Be ruthless with it. Take the money for you. There's no point in going through this stress for any other reason. So Sir Philip Green, look him up. He did it with BHS. And you can also Google Christmas catalog bankruptcy. And you'll see both of these people, both times the managing directors took their money. Same thing with the big banks when the big banks went bust. All the banking directors, you think they didn't take big money? When the big banks all fucked up, you think they didn't take their big bonuses first? The smart people know. Look after yourself first. Look after the business second. The smart people know that. Because as long as you're financially okay, as long as your bills are paid, your mortgage is paid, and you have money, everything's going to be all right. Right. Number 14, reputation control. I get lots of questions of people who say, well, what about, my reputation? People are saying bad things, etc., etc. To control your reputation is very, very simple. You need to do more good than bad. You're never going to have people 100% happy. But as long as in general you do more good than bad, you'll be okay. Also, you'll find that people don't often really go out of their way to slander you unless you've really, really pissed them off. And one of the easiest ways to piss people off is to ignore them. So, in business, no matter how bad things are going, you never ignore them. Even if they're blowing up your email and messaging you nonstop, I'm unhappy, I'm unhappy, I'm unhappy, try and find a solution. People only get worse and they only get bitter if they're ignored. Because if they're emailing you, then they're not writing all over blogs and forums and making their complaints public. They're complaining directly to you, which means you can manage it. So this is another very important thing about business. Everything I've taught you so far, you obviously see there was some struggles along the way. And I learned the most important thing you can do to manage your reputation is to take all the criticism personally so they can't spend the criticism anywhere else. So if someone has any kind of problem, contact them and say, hey, you got a problem, let's talk about it, let's see if we can work something out, blah, blah, blah. Even if they're a complete unreasonable idiot, if you continue to email them back and forth and let them vent a little, they're very unlikely to continue to just spread crap all over the internet. Because that's the world we live in now. It's easy to find customers with the internet and it's easy to lose customers with the internet. So for reputation control, make sure you're prepared to speak to people even when they're being dicks. That's point 14. Point 15, and this is very, very important. This is going to be a major way you should change your thinking in regards to business. So you've learned a lot of things so far and you're about to learn something else. And I think I've mentioned this before on Twitter, but if you missed it, this is very, very, very important. You have to change the way you think about money. And you're going to change the way you think about money by only thinking about money all of the time. So I'll give you an example. 99.9% of people who go in a coffee shop and buy coffee and sit down. If I go in a coffee shop, I go in, I look at the prices of the coffee, I look at how busy the place is, I buy my coffee and I sit down, and then I think, if I had to run this business, would I make money? Is there a way I could run this business and make more money? How much do I think the rent is in this establishment? How much are these coffees? How busy is it here? Do they sell cakes and sandwiches to make extra revenue? Who are the main customers? Well, it's mainly businessmen. I can see there must be a business district across the road. Why are the waitresses or why are the people who work here not hot young girls to attract more men to come in if that's the main customer? Think outside the box and look. If I were to open a coffee shop right next door, could I beat them? Are these coffees expensive? Are they cheap? Are they good? You have to start looking at every single business you interact with, every single one, and see how you would compete with them. Or if you had to run their business if you believe you'd make a profit. Because what you'll often find is you'll see there's a lot of people making mistakes and you think you could probably do better and you might be able to beat them. So you need to sit, and when you're going through your normal life, you're having your coffee, you're sitting in fucking Starbucks, whatever. Obviously competing with a multinational like that is going to be very difficult. But any business you interact with, just start training your mind to view their business, how you believe it works, everything from rent, overheads, the product, the profit margin, whether you think you could sell more, any tips or tricks they're missing, everything from start to finish. Just have a look and see if you can work it out. And you'll be surprised how much you learn about business self-taught. I do it with every bar I'm in, every restaurant I'm in, every coffee shop I go in, everything. Even simple things, like even things I know nothing about, like a mechanics. I don't know anything about fixing cars. Still, I'll look at the amount of cars they have around. I look at how much they charge me for my time, how much the labor is, how much I think they're charging the low-level workers, where's the big boss, how much is he making? You need to start thinking about money and thinking about businesses like this. Every time you interact with one, you need to analyze it. And your analysis will get better and it'll get more precise. Obviously, there's some information you don't know. You don't know exactly what the rent is. But you can estimate it. You should be able to estimate it. So this is one of the really important mind hack I teach anyone who wants to get serious about hustling and making money. You need to start approaching and looking at all businesses this way. Because what's going to happen is when you eventually open your own business, there's going to be some lessons that you identified, some mistakes you identified in the previous businesses that you're going to make sure you don't make. Whether you're opening a coffee shop or an online company, it doesn't matter what it is. You're going to identify the mistakes and you're going to change them. So even next time you buy something online, most websites nowadays are extremely streamlined. But still, if you identify a problem with the website, if you identify a problem with the email that comes afterwards, if you're unhappy with a particular aspect of customer support, if you don't like the packaging it comes in, whatever. Analyze everything and remember everything because you're going to use this stuff for your new company. So this is a very important mind hack. This is something you need to do permanently as a matter of habit. It's what rich people do. When they're sitting around money being made, or they're sitting around money being exchanged, because money's never made, money's only exchanged. When they're sitting around and they see money being exchanged, they work out exactly how and why and who's benefiting. So this is something you need to start doing as a matter of habit. It's extremely important.